Brought to you by JMR Rentals, professional digital cinema and broadcast equipment rentals in Brooklyn, New York. JMRNY.com. And now get 15% off your first rental when you use the promo code WEEKEND. Call 347-721-3400 or email info@jmrny.com for details. Hello and welcome to No Rest for the Weekend, where we go behind the scenes and talk to the creators of independent entertainment. I'm Jason Godbey, here with a recap of the 10th Annual Winter Film Awards. So we're going to talk about that in just 1 minute, but first, we've got some updates on some upcoming film festivals here in November. First, we got Soho International Film Festival. That festival will be running from November 4th to the 9th as a hybrid festival. They'll be having virtual screenings and some live events. We don't have the details as of yet, but be sure to follow them at Soho Film Fest on social media or visit their website, sohofilmfest.com, for details and updates. Also coming up in November from the 12th to the 14th, we've got NYC Webfest. NYC Webfest will be going virtual again this year. For updates, you want to visit nycwebfest.com or follow NYC Webfest on social media. All right, so that's what we got for updates. Now we're moving on to the actual awards. Due to COVID-19, the Winter Film Awards began in late September this year with screenings at Village Cinema, where they played host to over 90 films, including shorts, features, animation, documentary, and narrative films from all over the world. The closing night awards ceremony was held on October 2nd, and our own Kayla Vera was there on the red carpet.
Kayla Vera here with William Mark McCullough and Alexis Nelson with a feature, A Savannah Haunting.
Yes.
So how does it feel to be here today?
It feels great. Like the festival has just been so well run. The movies are amazing. The organizers are awesome.
Tell us a little more about your feature film.
The film is about a mother struggling with the grief from the loss of her young daughter. Her child drowned at their home in California, and so the family moves to Savannah, Georgia to get away from the pain of the old house. Once in her new home, the mom begins to believe she's being haunted by her dead daughter, and the other family members start to experience terrifying events, and so they have to come together to try to stop what's going on in the house.
What's unique about this film is we shot it in the actual haunted house. This house is owned by the McCullough family and has had a lot of terrifying experiences over the years as well. So we're doing an entire behind-the-scenes feature film documentary about the real hauntings that we did experience while trying to shoot in a haunted house.
What would you say is the central message of the film? What would you want the audiences to walk away with?
Well, I think the thing that kind of carries through the entire film is a sense of grief. The mother losing her daughter, the rest of the family kind of getting torn apart. So in some kind of strange way, it's really about family love. It's a drama about family love.
I love that. And what are your plans for the film going forward?
Well, we're doing the festival routine right now, so we'll be here. We have a lot of other festivals coming after this, and then we'll release this. We can't announce yet where it's going, but it will be a great place. And then we have the documentary that'll be coming right after.
Amazing. Now tell us where we can find more information about you and the film online.
If you go to Instagram, we're at Us Savannah Haunting, and it's also on Facebook.
William Mark McCullough and Alexis Nelson, A Savannah Haunting. Kayla Vera here with Portia Bachus, presenting an award tonight at the Winter Film Festival. Portia, how does it feel to be here tonight?
Oh, it's amazing. I've actually been working for the Winter Film Awards since they started about 10 years ago. So I've been presenting and doing awards handling from them.
Oh, that's amazing. What award are you presenting?
Tonight I'm presenting Best Animation, which will be first.
Exciting.
Yep.
Now tell us a little more about yourself. What have you been up to?
I'm a professional actress who has been studying acting for the past 10 years at multiple different acting schools, and right now I'm currently getting my MFA at the Actors Studio Drama School.
Wow, impressive. Portia, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Instagram at Portia Bachus, and it's PortiaBackus.
Kayla Vera here with Alyssa Angeles, director of the short Till the Petals Fall.
Yes.
I love the name.
Thank you.
So how does it feel to be here tonight?
Oh, it's so exciting. There's so many people here, and it's in New York City.
Yes.
So exciting and beautiful.
Tell us a little more about your short.
My short's about a young girl who decides to run away after multiple encounters with CPS in order to try to keep her family and her friends together.
I see.
Yes.
So what would you say is the central message of the film? What would you want the audiences to walk away with?
I really want them to walk away kind of with this sense of nostalgia and like childlike wonder, you know, and like really be able to like go back to a time when you think you know what's best for everyone else and maybe you don't, you know.
Alyssa, so tell us where we can find more information about you and your project online.
I have a website, www.alyssa-angeles.com.
That's awesome. Good luck tonight. Thanks for joining us. Alyssa Angeles, Winter Film Festival.
Thank you.
Kayla Vera here with Katie Trebetsky, who is presenting an award tonight at the Winter Film Festival. Katie, how does it feel to be here tonight?
I'm incredibly honored. I'm incredibly honored by this festival. This festival is amazing. It gave me my first shot, physically sponsored my film, but I'm very honored to present the Best Actress award today.
That is exciting. You look stunning, by the way.
Thank you so much. This designer is actually a friend of mine, Alexis.
And very nice.
Created this ensemble.
Beautiful. So I know that a year ago you had your own short film here. Tell us a little bit about it.
So it was a couple of years ago, and before the pandemic, obviously. And yeah, they gave me my first shot. It's a dark comedy mafia film. And
so cool.
Yeah, I'm the first woman to direct a dark comedy mafia film, and now I'm trying to push it into making it a series after it got 9 international wins in Italy, in India, in Russia.
What's the name of it?
The name is Cactus. The name of the film is Cactus. Nice and simple.
So tell us where we can find it online, where we can find more information about you online.
So my Instagram is at KTRUBETSKY. And then the film, if you want to follow and see what else is new, is at Cactus the Film. And I have a lot more in store. I'm excited to see it.
Well, good luck tonight. I am here with Mars Roberge and Debra Haden with a feature, Mr. Sister. So how does it feel to be here tonight?
It's amazing. We're so pleased to be the closing film of Winter Film Awards, the 10th edition, and we were here in 2018 for our film Scumbag, another film we made that played at Winter Film Awards. So it's starting to feel like a family, a home. Plus, it was us taking our New York City film back to New York City for our East Coast premiere. It was a great feeling.
Of course. So tell us a little more about the film.
The film follows a suicidal man from Milwaukee that's given a second chance in life working in New York City as a straight drag queen nun who makes his living insulting people. He gains the courage from the LGBTQ community to follow a relationship with a single tap dancing mom played by Debra Haden here, and gained the courage to pursue a glam rock band. It's a kind story where human nature has to lift up one another, ties humanity.
So tell us a little more about your character.
Well, my character is Marie, I am the love interest of the lead character, Jordan, played by Jack James Busa. He's kind of a mess when he gets to New York, and he kind of gets adopted by a group of drag queens. And I happen to work at the nightclub that they all hang out in.
Wow.
Yeah, so long story, I don't know, how many spoilers should I give? Should I give too many?
Not too many.
My character is kind of shy, and we'll just say Jordan helps her come out of her shell a little bit. They kind of help each other.
What would you want the audiences to walk away with?
I want the audience to be more accepting of one another, know that it's cool to be unique and it should be embraced, and that we all have to stand up for one another and get through this thing called life, especially in the Big Apple.
Very powerful. And going forward, what are the plans for your film?
Well, we just got signed a distribution deal with Arsenal Pictures, who's going to be putting out our film in North America on all the various platforms. That should hopefully be happening in about 2 months. And we might be playing a couple film festivals in Europe early next year. I just don't want to jinx which ones yet. And we're already moving on to our next 2 feature films we're in pre-production for right now as well.
If we want to know more about the film and you, where do we find you online?
Go to MrSisterNYC.com, and my company is World Domination Pictures. You can go to worlddomination.pictures and see everything we're up to.
Perfect. Well, good luck at the award ceremony.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Kayla Vera with Mars Roberge and Debra Haden for Mr. Sister.
A Savannah Haunting was nominated for Best Horror Feature, and Mr. Sister took home the award for Best NYC Film. Other award winners included Big Girl for Best Web Series, Rocket Star's Death of a Rock Star for Best Animated Film, Cuckoo won the award for Best Short Film, Koreatown Ghost Story took home Best Horror Short, The Puppet won Best Horror Feature, Best Documentary Short went to High Flying Jade, the award for Best Documentary went to More Than Miyagi, The Pat Morita Story, and Best Picture went to Since August. And joining me now to lend us his thoughts on some of the films from Winter Film Awards, the man behind ActuallyPaid.com, Mr. Bill Hammon.
Good to be back, Jay. How you doing?
Hey, man, it's great to have you. You got a chance to see, even though you're in California and it's totally not winter, you got a chance to see some of the films from the Winter Film Awards. What did you get to see, and what do you think?
Interesting selection at the festival. So I got to see Mr. Sister, which it's something. It is something. Like it is weird, and it's sometimes wonderfully so. It's like it's one of these movies where you kind of get the feeling that they're going for like a midnight movie or like a cult following, like a Rocky Horror type deal. The drag community's been huge lately as a cultural influence. Whether you're watching RuPaul's Drag Race or I saw an independent film earlier this fall called Swan Song with Udo Kier, which is easily one of the best films of the year and worthy of him getting an Oscar nomination for his performance. It's that great. So it's definitely like a ripe farm for content. But we never really thought of like would someone basically who is straight be a convincing drag queen? And this Jordan character, he's like, I think he's from Wisconsin, and he goes to New York like after a bad breakup and kind of lives on the street for a while, but he dresses in drag to kind of like panhandle until some drag queens take him in, and then they dress him up as a nun. That's where he gets the name Mr. Sister, which is pretty clever. And through his sheer force of personality and ability to trash talk people, he gets a gig as like an audience roaster at a cabaret club. And some of the best moments of the film are when he is just laying into people and with this whip smart timing, being very raunchy, very working blue as you know, as good as Don Rickles in his heyday sometimes, while being this like 6 foot tall, pasty, skinny guy in a leather habit. It's trippy. There's a very gonzo feel to it, especially like the way the camera like zooms in and back out on a lot of shots, or there's like these rapid fire montages of people reacting to nothing that you can tell were shot in isolation and then pieced together, but it kind of works for that whole effect. The actual screening at the WFA, like, it's sold out because there's a huge drag community in New York that is basically giving this a cult following. And it definitely has that feel of a good cult film. Like you can nitpick this movie to death from a production standpoint, from a plot standpoint, but when you're fully invested in it, and especially if you're part of this community that lives this experience every day, I can see where it could definitely find that really strong niche audience to kind of just get that bit of well-natured, ribald fun out of it.
Moving on now to the best documentary winner, More Than Miyagi, the Pat Morita story. Now, you actually wrote a full review for the website on this one. Tell us about it.
So it's your pretty standard issue, biographical documentary about a celebrity. We get these all the time. And as I wrote in the review, like I kind of, blinked at the title More Than Miyagi, because everybody is more than their most noteworthy thing, at least almost everybody. So it kind of goes without saying that Pat Morita would be more than just Mr. Miyagi. I mean, if nothing else, an older audience or just a more nostalgic audience would know him as Arnold from Happy Days. It's much more than that kind of entry-level interpretation to me. Like, it's not just saying, oh yeah, he was more than this role. It's more like the film is saying this role was the culmination of his life experience. The film's kind of presented like a Shakespearean tragedy in that he hits the peak, the climax of Mr. Miyagi midway through the film, and then there's the falling action before his death. And that's when his issues with alcoholism come more to light, his attempts to both embrace the legacy of the character and profit off of that, or to break away from it and remind people that that he's not just this sagely character. The building action, in essence, the first two acts, it shows you all the life experience that Pat Morita had as a Japanese American, and I should say just an American. He was born in the USA. He's never lived in Japan. His parents emigrated from Japan. All the formative years and all the formative experiences that basically allowed him to embody this role of Mr. Miyagi in a way that no other actor possibly could have. And of course, there's always the fun anecdotes from the producers and the writers of the film that said, we didn't want Pat Morita. Like, we're not gonna, like, this is a serious role and a karate master. I'm not giving it to Arnold. But then they see the screen test and they see how that famous scene where he's like raging at the guy from Cobra Kai and he's about ready to hit him, and then he just like zonks his nose. They screen tested that scene, and that was the convincing moment. It's like, yes, this guy is serious. Yes, this guy knows what he's doing, and he can be an intimidating presence, but also surprise you and still make you laugh and endear himself to you. And that's how he basically got the role. But all the major moments of what made Mr. Miyagi what he was, that came from Morita's life, his upbringing. One of the first facts that they mentioned, and this blew my mind, is that when he was about 2 years old, he was diagnosed with a form of spinal tuberculosis and basically was immobile until he was 8. He was basically living in the hospital, including during World War II, when his parents were taken and his family were taken to an internment camp because they were Japanese. He was basically living in hospitals until he had like a spinal fusion surgery and then could finally move and learn to walk and everything. That, to me, provided the perfect parallel to one of the classic bits of the Karate Kid, where he's having Daniel LaRusso, Ralph Macchio, do chores, wax on, wax off, up, down with the paintbrush, and then realize, oh, by the way, you've been doing these karate movements the whole time by doing these chores. Like, Pat Morita himself had to learn to walk in a non-traditional way. He had to learn how to move in a way that no one else would have even imagined possible. So that's something that can truly inform a performance like that, because where else is that experience going to come from? Any other actor, it would just ring hollow to have that moment. But Pat Morita lived this, so he knows to do it. They touch upon this a bit more when they talk about his alcoholism. He basically was drunk every day, Pat Morita. He was a high-functioning alcoholic for most of his life, and he could actually, be in a constant, almost therapeutic state of buzzed and never let on to people, except when he got really emotional about something. And that's where the scene where he's drunk in the movie, when he's drunk and wearing his old army uniform and talking about how he fought for the U.S. in World War II, but he was disrespected because he was Japanese, and he never got any benefits, and he gave all for his country. He saw the horrors and lost his family and lost everything, but still had that repressed pride. It's like any other actor in the Karate Kid playing that role, that's just a scene of pure melodrama. For Pat Morita, it's something that he lived every day. This idea of truly being American, but never being recognized as American. And that's where the whole title of More Than Miyagi really sinks in. It's the idea of being more than the sum of your parts. And so the film is basically, this man is more than this part, the sum experience that created, and he's even more than that.
Does this movie get made if Cobra Kai doesn't exist?
Maybe. I think it's harder to fund if Cobra Kai doesn't exist, and they have Billy Zabka and Ralph Macchio and the whole cast of that did both the movies and the show. That they're all interviewed over the course of the film. So it definitely is one of those things like, hey, let's strike while the iron's hot here. But the director, he definitely knows Pat Morita. So if he was inspired by Pat Morita, he wanted to make this movie, and he basically sees an opportunity here. There was even a note in the screeners from the festivals, like he's a karate expert. He's a black belt. He like so many others of our generation got into martial arts because of these movies. Like if there's no other legacy, martial arts is mainstream in the United States because of the Karate Kid. And it's because of Mr. Miyagi being that caring, strict, innovative, but loving mentor.
It sounds good, man. So we're going to wrap up, but for people who want to find you, read more of your reviews, Bill does review for us, but he also has his own website. Where can they find you on the web?
The website is actuallypaid.com. You can follow me on Twitter, actually_paid. And I've even debuted a YouTube channel of my own. I actually paid to see this. It's only got like one thing as of this recording, but I'm playing around with some ideas. There's some stuff I want to try, and hopefully in the next couple of months I can start experimenting and filling out the content on that. And who knows, maybe if I can really get ahead of myself, I can do some of my Oscar coverage on YouTube rather than on the blog, or do them in tandem. Who knows?
You definitely do a lot for the Oscars. All right, man, we're going to wrap up. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you at the next festival. And that's all we got for you today. Thanks so much for taking this trip down the rabbit hole. Now, for more of our content, including more film festival coverage, visit our website, norestfortheweekendpodcast.com. Don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. And now you can subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/getbehindtherabbit. Once again, I'd like to thank Kayla, Vera, William Hammon, and all the folks who came out to this year's awards. And a big thanks to JMR Rentals for sponsoring this episode. For Behind the Rabbit Productions, I'm Jason Godbey. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.